For this lesson, you're going to need this circular protractor, the protractor that looks like this, a smaller circle. If you don't have one, just quick draw a little circle and cut it out with your scissors. And then you'll need this page. It says lesson 6 on it, and it's just a practice sheet. All right, so we're going to start with this. I want you to turn it so you see the 0 up at the top. All right, this is a circular protractor. It measures a full circle. We'll use it a little bit as we get started just so you see them, but normally when we're working with angles, we use this protractor. They're both protractors. This one, although it looks larger than the circle, it's really half of the circle. Okay? So if you and the person next to you put yours together, you'd have a full large circle. All right, so what I want you to look at, go back to the circle. What I want you to look at is all these little marks going around. They look similar to what we have on a ruler, so they look like they could be like a millimeter or a centimeter, but that's not what we're measuring. When we're talking about shapes, about circles, about lines and angles, we measure in degrees. So there's 2 types of degrees. The degrees that are for temperature, how cold or how hot it is, and then the degrees that measure an angle. Okay, so what I want you to do is just look, if you go around, it counts by tens all the way around. The last one you see is 350, but each one of these little lines, these little tiny ones, is 1. Okay, so then when you get to the shorter line in between, that's 5, and then the longer line is 10. So like if you went around here, it'd be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, all the way around. So it really goes up to, there's 350, 355, and then although we get to 0, if you were counting those, you would see 356, 57, 58, 59, 360. This is how we measure a circle. So a circle, no matter what size it is 360 degrees around. So I want you to stand up, okay? Right now, you're facing the video. I want you to turn in a full circle all the way. So you turn around, your back is to me, and then you're facing back again at the video. Okay, that's a full circle. You turned around 360 degrees, even though you didn't count that as you went around. If we drew, like if you had like a pen on your shoe as you walked around, you would create a circle. And then we could use this protractor in order to measure it, and we would see that it's 360 degrees. Okay, that's a full circle. So we can think of these degrees. I have to find my marker. We can think of these degrees as fractions. Okay, so stay standing for just a second. I'm going to show you. When you turn just one of these little bits, or when you measure, make an angle and measure it, like if we made angles that just went bigger, 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 or smaller, 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 each degree is 1 out of 360 degrees. 360 degrees is the full circle. And each degree is 1 out of that. So if we're at 2 degrees, that's 2 out of 360. Okay, so I'm going to show you the next one. These are called benchmark fractions. It just means how do we think of the turns. Like you made a full turn, that's 360 degrees out of 360. So now you're facing me. I want you to turn so your back is to me. Okay, now I want you to turn again so you're back to me. Now you've made a full circle, but when your back was to me, you started facing 0, and then you turned around this way. So look on your protractor. What is that? You made a half circle. What degree is that? It's 180 degrees. So that would be 180 out of 360. And the way we write it, degrees, is just like we do for temperature, is right there, 180 degrees. Okay? All right, so you can sit down, but still look at this. I want to look at the next benchmark. Okay, so all the way around the circle was 360 degrees. Halfway around the circle is 180 degrees. Okay, I also want you to think, I'm just going to add this little thing in because you know we love idioms and words. Sometimes we use that 180 degree turn as an idiom, a figure of speech, where somebody has turned everything around. So they are opposite. They've gone halfway of what they were. So you were facing me and then you turned around, right? So your back was to me. So you made a 180 degree turn. And we say people do that when they flip what they've done. So maybe you used to come to school and not work on math at all. Well, now every day you come and you work really hard at it. We'll say, oh, he made a 180 degree turn, or she made a 180 degree turnaround. Means you just flipped what you were doing, okay? All right, now I want you to look. We've gone from starting right at the top, taken half turn to 180. What is half of a half? Do you know that? How many circles are there? There's 4. When you did the full turn, you went by 4 of the circles. When you did the half turn, you only went by 2 of the circles. So half of that is 1 circle. Okay, so look at this. It's a right angle. What's 1/4 of a turn? That's 90 degrees. So that would be 90 out of 360. All right? So I want you very quickly, I'm going to show you something else with these circles, and then we're going to use the protractor. All right? So on your paper, I'm going to just use this one. If you want, I'm going to do it on the whiteboard, okay? Find some room on it. I want you to use both circles. Watch how I do it, and then you can do it quickly, okay? And you're going to use your circle like this. Try and keep it straight across. I want you to make a dot right above 0 degrees, and then make one over here by 90 degrees, okay? And then trace around it like this, all right? And then when you move it, you can use your straight edge. And you're going to make a line down from that dot. Doesn't matter how far, just go past this dot. And then make a line over. Okay? This doesn't matter. This is our angle. And how many degrees is that? It's a right angle, so it's 90 degrees. All right, I want you to do that with your small circle also, okay? I'm going to just do it like this. I'm going to fold it in half, and you could do that with your other, your circular protractor. I just didn't have mine folded. All right, so I'm making a right angle out of both of them, okay? And then I'm tracing around this outside of the circle. That's called the arc, although I didn't make a very nice arc. Okay, you're making an arc. Which arc is bigger? Obviously that first one, right? It was around, I traced around a larger circle, okay? But what's the degrees on this one? This is still a right angle, so if I measure it, it's still going to be what? 90 degrees. Okay, so the size of the angle doesn't matter. Okay, they'll still measure the same. The arc, that means if I was to connect them, trying to make this angle part of a circle, that is longer, if my angle is bigger, if the lines on it are bigger. Okay? All right, that's just a little so you can see it. Hopefully you can begin to see an angle is still just part of a circle, even though a lot of times we just see it like this. All right, so we're going to practice with measuring angles. And that's all you're going to do today is measure angles and then work a lot, hopefully, on subtraction and, multiplication and division. So we can really get those down. All right. So I want you to take this paper. I'm going to show you how to use this protractor. Okay. So you should have just a little circle right there. And then do you see these, like you have a line going across here, and then you still have these lines here. All right. So you have to match up where the angle meets there. Right here. You match that into this hole and make these two lines match up with it. Now the lines go this way too, because it just depends on which way your angle is situated. You know, if it was this way or this way, things like that. You're just matching them up. And then you want to see that the line goes across there. So hopefully you can see through it enough. All right. So what I want you to do is look at letter C. Okay. See if I can get close enough to show you this. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I can see where they meet together. I want to get that right inside that hole. If you're using a plastic protractor, and even with these ones you can do it, because yours should be laminated, what you can do is put your pencil there to kind of hold it. Now, I don't have enough hands right now because I'm holding it up. Okay, but I see the end point there where they meet, the vertex, right in the middle, and then I want to line up my other line on it. Okay, so I see the vertex through there, and then this line has to match with the straight line on my angle. All right. Now this angle goes out far enough so I can see it. But if it was a smaller angle, I'll show you how to do it on the next one. But I don't want to take this off right this second. But I can use my straight edge and I can just extend the line, because it doesn't matter how long or short the line is, the angle is still going to be the same. Okay, so now the easy part about our protractor is there's only one set of numbers. On some, there are two sets of numbers. So what you'll have to watch for is knowing, is my angle acute or obtuse? So I always just think, hey, this line is straight. Going straight up would be a right angle. So this is less or more than 90 degrees. It's less, so I know it's an acute angle. So then if I had two sets of numbers, I'd have to use the set of numbers that's below 90, okay? But ours only has one set of numbers, so we're good. That's easy for us to tell. So I line that up, line it up in that hole with the vertex, line the straight line up, and then I just measure out. What is the measurement of this angle? 60 degrees. So right here where they show you this is angle C, I want you to write 60 degrees with the little symbol. Okay, now look at this angle. Is this acute or obtuse? Just put your finger right up here. That would be a right angle. It's smaller. It's like it's shutting. It's smaller. It's acute. What are these? Are these related at all? I hope that you just said what I'm thinking is they look a lot alike. These just look shorter. So that's what I want to show you. Should have grabbed a clipboard. That might have been easier, huh? That could give me an extra little hand. When I measure this right here, and I put the vertex in that little hole, and I line it up, I can't see where the line comes out. Now, I can see it straight through here, okay? But if I need to see it better, all I'm going to do is take my straight edge, line it up right along with the line that's there, and I'm going to extend that line out. Okay, so do that quickly. I just made it larger because then I can measure it easier. So I want you to put the vertex in that little bit of that middle point, that hole, line it up with your line that's on your protractor. That straight line is 180 degrees. That's a straight angle. So just a straight line across is 180 degrees. So line it up. And then what degree does it measure at? Same as the last one, 60 degrees. All right, I want you to do angle E. Write it down on there and then do angle E. If you need to pause, go ahead and do that. I'm going to give you a second. I'm going to make my line longer on angle E. I'm going to use my straight edge to extend the line so that it'll come out from the protractor. Okay, do you have your measurement yet? If not, go ahead and pause the video. I'll give you a second while I line mine up. And you just have to be careful that everything is on a straight line, okay? So I can see the vertex, and the vertex should line up with almost like this cross here. That line, this line should be along the other side of my angle. And then what's my measurement? I don't have it quite lined up perfectly. Okay. What's my measurement? 130 degrees. And what kind of angle is that? More than 90 is 130. All right, so what I want you to do before you do the practice page is I want you to measure with this one also and just see, are they the same? Now this one is a little bit harder, I think. It might be because we don't have these little circles cut out. That's something maybe we could work on, getting those cut out so you can hold onto it. And then you can kind of turn it around. Right in the center where the perpendicular lines cross, that's what goes on your vertex, okay? And then you have to line it up so that your straight line here goes across half of it between 0 and 180. So you're going to put that midpoint right there, make it line up across the line for 0, and then it should measure what degree? 60 degrees. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to do the problem set. It's front and back with angles, and you may use either protractor, but I want you to put which protractor you used. You can put a C for circle, or I can't write on that paper. You can put this half P, half protractor, or just half for which one you used. Okay, or you can measure with both. If you have enough time, I would just measure with both, just to prove to yourself that you have it right and that both protractors measure the exact same thing. All right, even though this one is a full circle and this is a half circle. All right, so you're gonna practice with those and then check your answers. Either the teacher will stop you and you guys will correct them all, or there'll be a sheet there and you can just check them. Check your answers. And if you have enough time, use your protractor and practice drawing a few angles. Your straight line here, and then draw a couple angles. Draw one that's 120 degrees. Draw one that's 160 degrees. One over here that's only 30 degrees. Things like that. All right, so I want you to practice with those. And then make sure you make some time to practice with multiplication and division. Because although we don't use multiplication and division in doing this, we will use some addition and subtraction later. But although we don't use multiplication and division, those are two of the most important things as we move on to 5th grade. So we have to make sure we have those down. All right, so that's not a hard part when we get to 5th grade. All right, do your very best work. Way to go.